August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It's 9 p.m, I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight... I will reveal to you what crimes some illegal migrants have been charged with and...
Working people. Working people. Working people.
Working people. More money in the pockets of working people.
Devastating economic and employment figures show that Labour is sucking the life out of Britain. Plus...
These women aren't friends out for a run, they're actually undercover police officers.
Police women are being used as bait to snare catcalling men. Is this a waste of police time? And...
There's not that, and I think without that, I think over time, perhaps the absurdities of monarchy will start to come to the fore.
Well, talking of absurdities, Poundland Braveheart Nicola Sturgeon exposes secret chats with the late Queen to flog her buck. Also...
Oh, bonjour, bonjour. I hope you're doing well today. I'm your tour guide.
This is an exclusive that is beyond parody. Human traffickers are posing as tour guides in France to show illegals where to get the boats. And...
This paramedic was the one left needing medical care after she was thrown out of an ambulance.
Should people who attack A&E staff be refused treatment on the NHS? On my panel tonight, we have got political commentator Esther Krakow, GB News superstar Alex Armstrong, and another political commentator, Jonathan Liss. Oh, and can you tell me, please, what's happening here? Get ready, Britain. Here we go. One million more people are on benefits for life under Labour. Next.
Patrick, thank you. Good evening. The top stories GB News can reveal more than 2,000 small boat migrants have crossed the Channel illegally since the France returns deal came into operation. It comes after GB News also confirmed more than 50,000 migrants had crossed in the 13 months since Sir Keir Starmer came into power. The figure is now almost 50,700 after a further 426 migrants crossed from France today, according to GB News provisional figures. In total, since the UK-France partial returns deal came into operation, operation less than a week ago. 2019 exactly small boat migrants have arrived in UK waters. Under the deal, it's believed only around 50 of that figure will be earmarked for return back to France. Elsewhere, the number of people claiming universal credit has hit a record 8 million, the highest since the benefit was introduced in 2013. Official figures show a jump of more than 1 million in the past year, driven almost entirely by those not required to work, now 3.7 million. That group includes people in full-time education, parents with very young children, pensioners and those deemed to have no prospect of work. Labour says it inherited a broken welfare system from the Conservatives and is tightening rules on who can claim. Meanwhile, Britain's unemployment rate is holding at a 4-year high as job vacancies fall to their lowest level since 2021. The ONS says unemployment stayed at 4.7% in the 3 months to June, while vacancies dropped by 44,000 to 718,000. Hospitality and retail saw the biggest payroll losses, with overall employee numbers falling in 10 of the past 12 months. Wage growth held at 5%, but after inflation, that's just 1.5% as the cost of living continues to rise. Members of the National Guard arrived at the DC Armory today, a day after US President Donald Trump announced he was deploying 800 National Guard troops to Washington and temporarily taking over the city's police department. The president cast his actions as necessary to rescue Washington from a purported wave of lawlessness. Statistics show that violent crime shot up in 2023, but has been rapidly declining since. Back home, an air pollution alert has been issued for London as temperatures climb. City Hall says strong sunshine and hot weather will trigger high ozone levels, with airflow from mainland Europe making conditions worse. The warning, displayed on bus stop boards, tube signs and sent to schools, urges Londoners to avoid idling engines and not to burn wood or garden waste. That's as temperatures peaked at 33.4 degrees in the UK today, as Britain has its 4th heat wave of the summer. The highest readings were recorded in Benson, Oxfordshire and Northolt in West London. The all-time hottest August day was 38.5 degrees in Faversham in Kent on the 10th of August of 2003. Amber and yellow heat health alerts are currently in force for all of England. And those are the latest headlines. For now, more in an hour.
Tune into GB News Radio wherever you are, online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Good evening. Devastating economic and employment figures prove Sir Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves are sucking the life out of Britain. They said Labour would be the party of working people.
Working people. Working people. Working people.
Working people. More money in the pockets of working people.
Wrong. 1 million more people have been signed off work on benefits with no need to ever look for a job under this Labour government. There are now 3.7 million people in Britain who have guaranteed benefits for life and never have to look for work. They've just been written off. And the number of people who have to look for a job as a condition of receiving their benefits fell from 1.65 million to 1.6 million in Labour's first year in office. Total health and disability benefits, OK, that bill that you're going to pay could be £100 billion in just 5 years' time. Look, a lot of people need benefits, and I want to make it very clear that I am not talking about them. I'm not talking about you. But I think there is something much bigger going on here. A number of 55 to 59-year-olds claiming benefits with no work requirements, so people aged 55 to 59 who now just don't have to look for work at all, but can claim benefits indefinitely, has climbed by 64% in the last year. 64% since Labour won the election. Well, I think I know why. Because they're looking at the country now and they've given up. They look around and they see illegal immigrants getting everything for free. They see the place they grew up in is now unrecognisable. They barely hear English when they walk around on the street. They've worked hard, paid tax all their lives, and yet when they go to the shops now, all they see is people nicking food from the aisles and legging it. You know, their neighbours have got a brand new car on the Motability scheme. There's no room for their grandchildren at the local primary school. And then they're being asked to work harder and pay more tax. And I think they've just said, no, I'm out. Sign me on for life. I give up. The number of 45 to 49-year-olds signed off for life with no need to look for work also rose by 58% in the last year as well. But this is what I think is really unforgivable. Listen to Rachel Reeves speaking in Belfast today.
There is more to do, but in the first year, we've managed to return stability to the economy. We're growing the economy and reducing costs, particularly mortgage costs for hard-pressed families.
I'm calling BS on that. Take a look at this chart. So look at the drop in payrolled employees since Labour came to power. The peak there, the peak of that graph, is roughly the time of the last election. And then look at it. It's going down, isn't it? It's nosediving. The number of people in work has dropped by about 164,000, but there are also fewer job vacancies being advertised. There are fewer jobs available under Labour, and it is affecting young people. This is the thing that really winds me up. It is affecting young people. Payrolled employment for under 18s is down almost 59,000 on the year, with 18 to 24-year-olds down 43%. The drop for those aged between 25 and 34 is a staggering 106,000 over that period. It's remarkable, this. Under Labour, we've got job opportunities down, people in work down, lifetime on benefits up. I mean, the cynic in me would say that this is what socialists want, a nation of people dependent on the state. But we need to have aspiration in Britain. People need to feel like they can have a go, take a punt, get on with their life, be upwardly mobile. We need to be a nation of go-getters. And I think Labour is sucking that out of us. The thoughts of my panel. We have got political commentator Esther Kraku. We've also got GB News superstar Alex Armstrong and journalist Jonathan Liss. I think this is pretty staggering. Alex, I'll start with you on this. I mean, those figures of both unemployment, people who can have a lifetime on benefits with no need to look for work, and job opportunities are pretty bleak, really.
Yeah, and do you know what, Patrick? You look around the country, you look at the state the country's in, and you kind of understand why. What opportunities are there for young people anymore? Zero. You can't even get a job at Tesco. My little brother's been working his backside off just to get a job at Tesco. Can't get one. More than capable, just cannot get one anywhere where he lives or at university. GDP per capita, what's the point? 100 grand today is what 50 grand was 10 years ago. We've got food inflation, energy bills soaring. And so people are wondering, if I'm going to get into work, if I'm someone maybe who took an early retirement, wants to get back to work, what's the point? What am I going to get out of this? In fact, I'm going to get taxed more, I'm going to get back less, and I'm giving all of my money is going to people who've just arrived 10 minutes ago, are getting freebies here, there and everywhere, free hotels and everything else. It's just, they just think it's pointless. I don't blame them.
I mean, we've got it from both ends of the spectrum there, Esther, right? So we've got people who are maybe nearing retirement anyway, who I think have, for one reason or another, just thrown the towel in now. And I do wonder if it's because they think, what's the point in them going out, breaking their backsides every single day, to maybe have a tiny bit of disposable income, when they look around now and they think this country's just gone.
Well, you're giving freebies to every Tom, Dick and Harry that comes across on a boat. Why shouldn't I get one? At least I've contributed to the system. I think, but, you know, these were the figures we were expecting to see when we saw that hike in people claiming disability benefits and not having to look for work. So the nation was shocked when it was mainly under 35s, mainly people under the age of 25, actually, who had had just come out of full-time education or just couldn't find a job. So this is what we were expecting. But then can you imagine if younger people are finding it hard to find a job, what do you think about people that are 55 to 59 who cannot be retrained? Because let's be honest, most companies are not going to fork out to retrain people that are close to retirement age, who probably have higher expectations. Of course they have, because they have about 40 years of experience in their field, whatever field that is, or in various fields. And then on top of all of that, so they have to find a job in this difficult climate. And then when they do, they're going to be taxed more than ever, so that Joe Blow can come across on a boat from France and get put up in a hotel. I mean, it's just, it's so demoralising, but I hope this is the kick in the backside that the government needs to see that their plan is not working.
Well, this is it. Jonathan, so 1 million more people have been signed on to benefits for life without ever having to look for work under Labour. It's the party of not working people, isn't it?
I think that we have to accept a basic truth, which is that most people actually want to work rather than depend on benefits. You can dispute that. You could call me hopelessly naive and optimistic, but I do think that most people want to lead fulfilled lives and actually have a purpose in life that is given by work. Now, that's not to fetishise work. I hate it when Conservatives seem to say that work is the purpose for being alive. The reason for being alive is very sort of this Protestant work ethic kind of thing, very American. and I don't like that either. But I certainly think that work is something that most people would like to do, and you have people at the beginning of their working lives and towards the end of their working lives who aren't working for different reasons. Now, obviously, we've had a lot of time with a serious pandemic. Obviously, that has led to a rise in long-term illness, in mental health problems, in young people and older people as well. There is.
But let's just bring that graph up. Can we? Sorry, guys. The graph of the kind of unemployment figures under Labour that I showed you that monologue there. I think we can bring that up because I take your point about the pandemic, and that obviously had a problem. But what we can show when we see this graph is that actually at the point of the last election, we had employment on the rise, and it was going quite well.
But Patrick, unemployment and employment are both actually rising at the moment, which sounds kind of like it's contradictory. But they're both the employment figures and the unemployment figures are actually both rising because there's an increase in the work supply. So they are adding jobs, but there is an argument which I can completely accept, which is that because of the national insurance rises, companies are not hiring as much as they were. Which would be Labour's fault.
Isn't it incredible that all those thousands of strapping young men that are coming here, mainly to work, of course, from water...
That's not allowed to work. Why do we keep on talking about asylum seekers in this argument?
Let's have a look at that. So I don't know if we might be able to remove the strap as well, but basically the dates on that, where you see that top spike there, right, there we go, right, lovely stuff. So we've got July there, and so, OK, a little bit of a bump, and then no, there we go. We've got Rachel Reeves' budget, and it's gone down. That is Labour's fault.
It is so obvious, though, isn't it, Patrick? It's so obvious that you tax businesses, there's going to be less jobs. You raise the minimum wage, even those lower wage jobs are also going to start disappearing. On top of that, I mean, people are paying out of their backside for average things. Jobs that pay barely the minimum wage these days, it's not worth working. You're better off being on benefits, and that is the reality. And just before you continue, let's not forget, this is a spiralling problem. We are heading towards a serious stagflation crisis because the Labour Party is more ideologically concerned about keeping the benefits, what I'm going to call the benefits triple lock now, because you've got to get through the Labour Party multiple times, and they could have been bringing this bill down and getting people back to work.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned triple lock because obviously that is the biggest benefits bill.
Many business owners were saying that the actual bonuses that they want, or pay rises they wanted to give to their staff, they couldn't because of this NI rise. And if you've noticed where there have been the most job losses, is basically in hospitality, where you have transient short-term employment. So clearly, this is a direct result of that. And I'm sorry, this idea that, we should get rid of the triple lock for pensioners, look at the hurdles that the Labour government had to go through to basically not get any actual cuts to benefits because of all their Labour backbench MPs who don't want to lose votes. But they're just basically, Britain is circling the drain.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that because the pensioners are the people most likely to vote, you can't offend them. And if you're going to sort of attack,
the people who pay the most tax.
If you're going to hit benefits claimants, pensioners are benefits claimants as well. Now you could argue that they are, and you can argue quite easily, they deserve those benefits. I would argue that most benefits claimants deserve their benefits actually. But to ring-fence one cohort of the population receiving benefits and sort of let everyone else take huge cuts of working-age people who have struggled in a way that pensioners haven't is wrong.
That's the question.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point.
This? I don't care who deserves what. Tell me who.
Well, we're paying for the triple lock pension. Well, we are. All of us who are working right now are paying for the triple lock. And we're not going to have the triple lock when we're pensioners, as you know that.
But that's hypothetical.
I think we're even past that point.
What about the young people, though? Sorry, this is the thing. What about young people?
For young, productive people to stay here and tolerate paying for a system that they're never going to benefit from.
Yeah.
Paying more taxes than ever before, still trying to get their heads around a student loan. And this is assuming before all of this they even find a job. You're in for a rude awakening.
This is it.
That's just not
you've got young people. This is what really bothers me about this. One of the most formative things that I think many young people can do, and I did it, and a lot of my friends did it, was from the age of about 16 or 17, you go and get like a job behind the bar somewhere, or you wait tables in like your local pub or your local restaurant, and you start to actually realise, oh gosh, even if it's not much, I got about a couple hundred quid a week or something like that, if that. I got a couple hundred quid a week, maybe earn a little bit more in tips or something, and it just gets you going a bit, doesn't it? And you think, OK, I'm working for this living now, and I'm juggling that with school at the time and things, and it just gets you in the groove for when you start to become an adult and everything. Maybe turns you on a little bit to like the idea about what would it be like to actually run my own business one day. And if we're taking that away from people because people aren't hiring, people aren't advertising those jobs, that's a problem. And I do wonder now, Alex, where we've got a large cohort of young people in Britain now now who look around this country and they think there's no opportunity for them. They see other people being treated like first-class citizens and then being treated like second-class citizens, and they just think that they're going to get absolutely hammered, and you take away aspiration.
Yeah, well, they are. They come out of university with 90 grand's worth of debt these days. That's excluding the interest rate they have to pay. So they're looking at a never-ending black hole of their finances forever, a lot of them, which is absolutely nuts. We are punishing young people. The Adam Smith Institute put out some really interesting data. 74% of young people are planning or seriously looking at leaving the country for opportunities abroad. So on top of all...
I'm glad that all the pensioners took that right away from them.
Well, I'm terrible. It's terrible that all the Labour Party have absolutely slammed the rich people that have had trickle-down. I think you're seeing the results of when...
Trickle-down economics is a complete nonsense, Alex.
Well, it clearly works.
Complete nonsense.
The amount of people who are no longer payrolled is plummeting massively.
Well, a lot of people are also becoming self-employed as well. That does account for that.
Why is that happening? Because the businesses can no longer afford to keep them. Therefore, they're having to go self-employed. That's the
it's self-evident now that we are being run by a cohort of people who have never run a business in their lives, have in some cases lied about what they have actually done for work, and I don't have a real clue. Most of them, actually, as far as I can tell, the cabinet have basically pounced off the state for their entire life in one way or another with the public sector. They don't realise what's going on out there, and they are sucking aspiration out of this country.
Well, people, public sector workers are not pouncing off the state. Is that the word you're using? That's
half of their jobs.
No, I mean, we need a strong public sector and a strong private sector in this country. I don't think that most people... That's not the issue here, about whether we should not have private sector or public sector jobs, rather. The issue is about, these long-standing challenges we have in this country, about productivity, about people not in work, and there are many, many reasons for that. And I think that we need a carrot approach more than a stick approach.
We just want to create everyone to be dependent on the state, don't
no,
we? That's socialism 101.
Of course not. That's not what socialism is. Socialism is about redistributing. Socialism is all about making people dependent on the state, Patrick. It's about redistributing wealth to make it fairer and to allow people to get opportunities they wouldn't have under capitalism.
There are no jobs left. That's socialism.
All right, just very quickly, so what can we do to turn this around? Is there anything that we can do to turn this around and make people feel as though they can go out, they can take a punt in life, they'll get rewarded for working hard and maybe taking a bit of risk?
I heard the Chego silence is free. Maybe we can relocate the government there and get a new government.
And they just had a 90% had an income tax cut. We paid for that, did we not, Esther?
I think we could relocate the government to the Chagos Islands and then try and... I think my local plumber might do a better job.
Well, possibly. Well, look, there you go. Again, there's more stats coming out by the day now, and Labour have been in power for over a year, and at some point they're going to have to take some accountability and responsibility for this. My heart goes out for people, seriously, who, especially younger people now, who feel like there's no opportunity or aspiration in Britain, because I believe in people in this country. I believe in young people in this country who want to work, who want to get on in life, and I feel as though they're having the rug pulled out from under them. But we've got loads more coming your way, including an unbelievable front page. Well, it is believable, but it's on the front of the Independent. We have smashed fewer gangs than we did previously under this Labour government, apparently. So there we go. But before that, here's your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for a year and get a bonus £5,000 in your bank. It's the latest Great British giveaway. But guess what? If you haven't got a mortgage or rent to pay, you can still enter and get £15,000. Here's how you can be in it to win it.
We want to send some of those monthly financial stresses packing this August with your chance to be mortgage or rent-free for 12 whole months. We'll give you a cash lump sum that equals 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to an amazing £20,000. We'll also throw in an extra £5,000 on top of that for good measure, because why not? And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you. We'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. What are you waiting for? Lines will close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Well, coming up later in the show, get a load of this. The Independent has already dropped their front page, and it says this: abject failure as smuggling arrests fall under Labour. A remarkable story. We'll give you more detail on that. But before that...
These women aren't friends out for a run. They're actually undercover police officers.
This is just nuts. Undercover police officers are jogging to crack down on catcalling. For tonight's head-to-head, I'm going to be asking, is this a complete and utter waste of police time? Stay tuned.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, you say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Dubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we are proud to stand for you, for the Britain you love, for the communities you live in. That's what makes us the fearless champions of Britain. Its voices and its values. Because we, at GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Wake up with a familiar face. She's back on breakfast television. Penny Smith returns.
Miss me? Well, I'm here, and I brought the coffee.
And we're reuniting to brighten your morning.
It's just like old times, only better.
So join Penny and me next Monday and Tuesday only on GB News Breakfast.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys tonight. Should female police officers be used as bait for white van men? It's time for the head-to-head. Surrey police have devised an ingenious new scheme to catch catcallers, but it's controversial.
These women aren't friends out for a run. They're actually undercover police officers taking to the streets in Surrey as part of a new operation trying to stop people catcalling and harassing female runners.
We get honked at, the staring, the hanging out of the window just to look at us, and it's so prevalent.
OK, well, I'm glad they've solved every other crime. I mean, you do have to wonder, is this really a good use of police resources? Given that shoplifting is out of control, the police seem more interested in policing speech than being on the beat anyway, some of them. Let's just get to grips with this with a couple of guests, shall we? So joining me now is External Affairs Officer at the Free Speech Union, Connie Shaw, and activist and former police officer, Chantal Lunt. Thank you very much. Connie, should female police officers be out there trying to catch catcallers like this?
Well, I think there are three things here, Patrick. So first of all, in that clip, there's a bit where the police officer literally says these things aren't really necessarily crimes, but they still need to be addressed. So they're not crimes, so it's not within the police remit by definition in the first place. Police need to be out there tackling actual crimes and not going after pre-crimes, people who think they might be likely to go on to commit other crimes with these bizarre social experiments. Secondly, if you're going to be serious about tackling violence against women and girls, i.e. actual crimes, then we need to actually make punishments for these abusers serious. Just today, reports of a Nigerian man who attacked a woman on Bournemouth Beach, sexually assaulted her, has been spared jail time because of his troubled upbringing. He's been granted indefinite leave to remain in Britain. And thirdly, which I think is hilarious, the reason that they are conducting this scheme is because there has been an increase in reports of harassment in the area. So instead of encouraging women to report these instances and actually respond to them, what they've done instead is get female police officers, use them as bait, allowing them to be harassed themselves in the name of stopping harassment.
Yeah, OK. Well, look, Chantal, you're a former police officer. Is this the kind of thing you would have wanted to do with your day when you were on the beat?
I think it's definitely the kind of thing that restores confidence in policing and confidence for women to exist in public spaces. Let's be clear, these are crimes. So sexual harassment in a public place is a crime. And if we look at the actual initiative, they've got 18 arrests that range from things like sexual harassment to assault and to theft. So they are catching criminals. And it's a case of restoring women's trust. We know the women's trust in policing is at an all-time low, and that's in part to actual officers like David Carrick and Wayne Couzens, who had a history of, lower level behaviours like public indecency that went under the radar. And we know that if we look at perpetrator behaviour, those kinds of behaviours can escalate, especially if they go undetected. And if we look at different sectors like drugs and licensing, it's not uncommon for the police to send undercover officers into those spaces in order to catch people out. There's also the fact that this could act as a deterrent for people who would be, circling parks and looking for women, looking to harass women in public places.
Yeah, I do just wonder if I lived in the Surrey area and I'd had my house burgled and the police had called me and said, sorry, we haven't got any leads on this. And I said, well, where are two of your police officers today? And they said, well, we put some Lycra on and gone jogging and we're hoping to catch Steve the white van man for saying I've got a nice rear end. I'd question whether or not they had their priorities straight, Connie.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of the sentiment of anything that was just said. The point is, why can't the police just encourage women to continue reporting these and actually respond, rather than, in the meantime, taking more police officers off the street to do this when they could be actually responding to the instances?
I mean, Chantal, look, I'm just going to throw this one into the ether, right? Is catcalling that big a deal?
It's often indicative of other behaviours, and I'm not sure if you yourself, Connie, have ever been catcalled, but I am a runner and I've been out running. I've not only been catcalled, I've had men follow me in cars. It is a big deal, and what it does for women is it impacts our confidence to then want to go out and to have a life in public spaces. So it is a big deal, but to come back to one of your earlier points, Connie, we can't put the onus on women to report these crimes when we know women have lost trust in policing. There's a dark figure of crime, which is essentially all of those crimes that go unreported, and quite often in terms of reporting behaviour, if a woman reports a lower level crime, say harassment or catcalling, and it's not taken seriously by the police, that breaks down the trust between a woman and the police force. And then if there's a bigger incident, she is less likely to come forward and report that incident. So it is as much about restoring trust as addressing the wider issue.
Okay, is there anything you'd like to come back to there, Connie?
Yeah, so the point is the police need to take women seriously instead of doing ridiculous schemes like this to tackle pre-crime. I most definitely have been catcalled. I was flashed once in a club in Leeds. I got a picture of the guy's face. I told the police and their response was, oh, we can't do anything because the CCTV in the club was too dark. And that was it. So I'm well aware that there is nothing sometimes, that police don't do anything a lot of the time. Why can't they work on that and get these police officers to work on actually taking things seriously and sorting out situations like that, rather than taking two women off the street to be baited out, to be harassed themselves in the name of stopping harassment?
I I don't think it's taking women police officers off the street. It's actually putting them into the community, and it's restoring faith. And also there's the wider preventative factor. So if you are someone who is an offender, whether serial or otherwise, and you think for a second that one of those people who you're going to be catcalling, harassing, flashing, the list goes on, is an undercover police officer, you might think twice, and it could make the area a lot safer. We're already seeing arrests to evidence that the area is becoming a lot safer, and it was in response to report of harassment.
OK. All right, both of you, thank you very much. Quite an interesting discussion that I thought. It's External Affairs Officer at Free Speech Union, Connie Shaw, and activist and former police officer Chantal Lunt. Well, got a lot more coming your way. Poundland Braveheart Nicola Sturgeon exposes secret chats with our late Queen to flog her book. So that's nice, isn't there? But next...
Oh, bonjour, bonjour. I hope you're doing well today. I'm your tour guide.
This is... it's beyond parody, this, but it's an exclusive that we've got here on Patrick Christys tonight. Human traffickers are posing as tour guides in France to show illegals where to get the boats.
You're looking happy.
Well, the forecast looks good.
So you've sorted the travel insurance then?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, and across many parts of southern Europe there will be some showery rain around, but plenty of sunshine, and I think the biggest talking point is the exceptional heat. Some very warm air over North Africa has spread northwards into parts of Spain, Portugal, and is going to push into France and Germany as well. Coastal spots are going to be, well, very warm, but it's inland areas where temperatures are going to be exceptionally high, both by day and by night. Plenty of sunshine, like I said, however.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Over the coming days, it is going to remain hot in some places. This could be enough to produce some heavy, possibly thundery showers in the week, and the warm, muggy nights are set to continue. And it's all thanks to that south-southeasterly flow, so we're dragging up some heat from mainland Europe, keeping things quite dry and settled, but also quite warm at times. And as we head through this evening, we'll also drag up some moisture from the southwest, so more cloud just starting to push into parts of south and southwest England, southern parts of Wales too. That could lead us into quite a murky start in the morning. Mostly dry, though we do have some showers just pushing northeastwards across Scotland. But once again, another warm start today. Lows only reaching around 17 to 18 degrees in the south. Now, any cloud that we see across the southwest, it should lift and break through the course of the morning, but it could be thick enough at coasts to produce some very isolated showers. But across Northern Ireland, much of central and southeastern parts of England, northern parts of England too, it should be a bright and sunny start to the day. More cloud across Scotland, some isolated showers just moving their way northeastwards here too. The odd one or two could be heavy, and once again we could still continue to hear the odd rumble of thunder, but they'll eventually clear, drifting their way northeastwards. Any cloud across the southwest will lift and break, and for all, once again, it should be mostly dry, settled and feeling very hot in that sunshine, particularly across central areas. And then we just need to keep an eye on the showers across parts of the southeast, so we may start to see more cloud here into the afternoon, perhaps an odd light shower. But once again, temperatures widely in the mid to high 20s, just pushing into the low 30s across central parts. Then on Thursday, we see a bit of a mixed bag of weather. There are going to be some quite heavy thundery showers, particularly northwest Scotland, drifting into western parts of Wales, parts of southwest England as well. So we need to keep an eye on those showers. They could turn quite heavy and thundery. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine to end the week and into the weekend, and the warm temperatures are set to continue as well. Bye-bye.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. An exclusive story for you now. People smugglers are reportedly posing as French tour guides in Calais to meet and then direct migrants in preparation to travel them in a small boat to Britain. The new tactic has been uncovered in a French court case where a smuggler has been jailed for arranging trips. The gangs typically bury boats in beaches, which are later dug up, ready for the crossings, with the purpose of the, quote, tours to give migrants an exact point of where the boat has been buried in the sand, the best route into the migrant camps, and where to meet inland before boats leave in the early hours of the morning. One French prosecution source said the idea is for the migrants to get a good view of where they will be leaving in the light. This is just absolutely bonkers, isn't it? How on earth? I mean, look, OK, so they've managed to snare one person and arrest them and prosecute them and all that. Brilliant. But how brazen do you have to be? Like, is it not quite obvious? You know, is that a guided tour of blokes from Sudan, is it? They've come to look at the beautiful French coastline, have they? Or they're taking a real keen interest in these sand dunes. I mean, how thick do the French police have to be? Joining me now is the UK's former Chief Immigration Officer in Calais and Dunkirk, Kevin Saunders. Kevin, thank you very much. I mean, yeah, so guided tours for the Eritreans and Ethiopians and Sudanese taking place in France. Remarkable, isn't it?
It is absolutely. Couldn't believe it when I heard the story originally. I thought it was, you know, April the 1st almost. But you can see why they're doing it. They want to make sure that the migrants know exactly where to go, exactly where the boat's going to be, which will limit their time on the beach, and thus, hopefully, from their point of view, mean it's less chance of the French police jumping in and stopping them.
Yeah, but just like, hey, Kevin, I would have thought it might be quite easy to spot this fake guided tour of northern France because, I don't know, maybe they've always had a strong Sudanese tourist market, but I suspect not. And I can't help but wonder whether or not, you know, 40 African lads following someone in high-vis down towards the sand dunes, especially given everything else we've got going on, might be quite a strong indicator that that is indeed a fake tourist operation.
I agree with you completely, and I'm astonished that the French police aren't jumping all over this, because this would be so obvious, wouldn't it? You know, you're taking them to where the boat's buried. So, yeah, well, I don't think I can ever be surprised anymore about what's going on.
I suppose the wider point here is, all right, we found out about this because of a court case, and so that by definition does mean that the French authorities have done something about it. I would have loved to have been there when the arrest was made, though. You know, have you got a tour guide pass? Have you got any credentials? I mean, that would have been absolutely hilarious. You know, asking them. It's got a little bit of a whiff of the Salisbury poisoning about it, hasn't it? Where the two Russian chaps who did it then came out and said, oh, we were just in Salisbury because we were there to see the wonderful church tower. That was why we were there. But overall, it cuts to the core, really, of if they feel as though they can operate with this level of impunity in France and take the mick, which is what they are doing, then it would imply the French police haven't been doing that much for very long, wouldn't it?
Well, that's another way of looking at it, Patrick. It would indicate that perhaps the French police have been drinking too much coffee and eating too many croissants and not being out on the roads actually seeing what is going on. Because, as you say, it's pretty obvious with the numbers that are involved that something is going on.
I just want to, I know that you might not have had a chance to have sight of this, but it's a story we're going to be covering more at 10 p.m. And the front page of tomorrow's independent newspaper has landed, and on that they have a revelation that prosecutions for people smuggling and human trafficking appears to have dropped under this Labour government. So in the last year, there it is, abject failure as smuggling arrests fall under Labour. And that is an exclusive that they've got, and it says, on the day that small boat crossings soar to 50,000 and dozens more migrants attempt to reach Britain by sea, we reveal that the government is also failing with the gangs. That is a headline that I think, frankly, just blows up any notion that Sir Keir Starmer has got and Yvette Cooper have got of smashing the gangs, doesn't it? And it's in a left-wing newspaper.
Yes, and I'm really glad that the Independent have actually done this, because I've been saying for years that you will not be able to break the gangs. You know, you can't do it. It's not going to happen. And now the Independent have actually got on board as well. Perhaps people might start to listen. These smuggling gangs that they're catching are they're either very, very lucky, or they're in the UK. And you can catch them in the UK because that's our jurisdiction. But even if we're there in France, and even if we're working closely with the French, at the end of the day, it's still up to the French. And I think the guy that was running the tourist business, what did he get, 2 years?
Yeah, well, yes. That's the other aspect. That is the other aspect to it, the punishment for these people. So recently on this show, I've covered a bloke who was caught with an inflatable dinghy in the back of a van with petrol and a load of life jackets, travelling it to Gravelland, which is where a load of people take the boats from. He avoided jail. He was given a suspended sentence. So you caught someone red-handed supplying a boat for the purpose of illegal immigration, no punishment, really. I think he might have got a small fine and politely asked to leave France. And then you've got now a bloke who's been running fake tourism operations in Calais, guiding people towards the boats. Again, slap on the wrist from the French authorities. Absolutely pathetic, isn't it? And look, like I said, we're going to get stuck more into that big revelation on the front of the Independent tomorrow, which is the arrest for human traffickers is dropped under Labour. I mean, that is devastating. It's also another demonstrable mistruth. So if you're going to be there standing in front of us and going, smash the gang, smash the gang, smash the gangs, you know that there are figures out there that prove that the opposite is true. I mean, it's horrific. But Kevin, look, thank you very much. You're going to have to leave it there, my good man. It's Kevin Saunders, former Chief Immigration Officer in Calais and Dunkirk. Well, yeah, we're also going to be revealing another big revelation today. The most common criminal charges against illegal immigrants. So, you know, the next time that you bump into someone who's a very well-meaning liberal lefty, you can present them with this list I'm about to show you, which is the most common criminal charges against illegal immigrants. You can ask them why they're OK with that. But before that...
There's not that, and I think without that, I think over time, perhaps the absurdities of monarchy will start to come to the fore.
Well, she'd know a thing or two about absurdities, wouldn't she? She's basically come out as non-binary, essentially, and she's looking like she's going to move down to London. I wonder why. But anyway, Scotland's former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has made some shocking claims about the late Queen Elizabeth II. And, yes, watch out, Soho. Nicola Sturgeon's about to come down to London. Oh, and there's still time to get your ticket. You can join me every Friday night in this very room. Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christys Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays, I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christys Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christys here.
I'm Michelle Duke, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless, and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, you say it week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Nicola Sturgeon has a book out, not that she likes to go on about it. She's been spilling the beans on her relationship, not that one, with the late Queen Elizabeth. She claimed that the late monarch loved a bit of gossip and wanted to know everything about the Alex Salmond scandal. Sturgeon described the monarch as an incredible woman and has questioned, though, if the monarchy can survive without her.
While, I'm not criticising the rest of the royal family, I've got respect for them too. There's not that, and I think without that, I think over time, perhaps the absurdities of monarchy will start to come to the fore much more without the personality of the Queen to keep it going.
Sorry, talk about absurdities of the monarchy and everything. There's some revelations in this book that cast serious questions over the kind of life that she's been leading for the last however many years and how public she was about that. I find that quite absurd. Why is she deciding to, have a second adolescence in London, for example? It's a total mystery, isn't it? But can the royals keep going without the Queen? Is it right that in order to flog this book, Nicola Sturgeon has basically been revealing secret conversations? Ingrid Seward, royal commentator and former editor of Majesty magazine, joins us now. Thank you very much. Is this poor form from Nicola Sturgeon?
Well, I think it's very poor form. I think Nicola Sturgeon, she says she's a Republican, and she certainly is, and then she goes on to say how wonderful the Queen is. So people think that they can say they're Republicans, but the Queen, of course, was wonderful. I mean, I quite honestly don't believe a word she says. I think that she's not really spilling beans on the Queen, because every minister that has written a biography has to have something about the Queen in there, because that is what the newspapers and the things that they pick up on that. And she said, that the Queen used to talk to her about Sir Winston Churchill and Nelson Mandela, as if they were real intimates. But I think the Queen is always, obviously, is a past master at making very small talk. And I just cannot really imagine that she and Nicola Sturgeon would have had a great deal in common, but the Queen would have been incredibly polite and charming to her. And I think that Nicola Sturgeon has no reason to say anything unpleasant about the monarchy. We could say a lot of unpleasant things about her and have done. I feel quite angry about this.
Well, go on, why do you feel so angry about it?
Because I just don't respect Nicola Sturgeon. I don't see how anybody can respect her. She's been in a ministerial position of which she's lied, and she's done. I won't say anything that will be libelous, but she's certainly not told the truths. She's been weighed in the balance and found wanting, and then she decides she's going to say, well, I don't think that the monarchy. Well, basically, she's not these words, but I don't think the monarchy will last without the Queen. Well, what on earth does she know about it?
Well, I don't actually really think she knows a huge amount about. I don't think she knows a huge amount about leadership. I mean, her whole raison d'être was trying to split up the United Kingdom, which she failed abjectly at. Huge clouds over her departure. She tried to push through one of the most radical LGBT emphasis on the T agendas that the world has ever seen. The whole time, it appears, you know, living under a non-binary gender, etc., which she declined to tell anyone about, and is now mysteriously having a second adolescence thinking of it anyway somewhere in London. I wonder why that could be. Watch out, Soho. But, you know, I think there's serious question marks over Nicola Sturgeon's credibility, full stop, isn't there?
I think there is, and when you look at the comments that people have made about all her remarks and her television appearances, they just think, well, why are we listening to this woman? Because she's got a biography out, and it's, you know, it's all a bit of gossip. But she did say, I listened to something she said earlier today, and she was saying, well, she found that Scotland was really too small for her, as if, you know, as if she's too big for Scotland. But I mean, why? It wasn't exactly those words, don't get me wrong, but it was, she was insinuating that she wanted to come to London because it was a bigger place. And this is a woman that has been, you know, trying to divide the two countries, you know, for most of her political career. I just don't think she stands up.
Well, one of the things, look, I imagine one of the things that she would say is, of course, that she'd have a lot of political success, winning several elections up there, etc., and that I think she would deny that she's lied about anything. But anyway, and I suppose she didn't go into a huge amount of detail necessarily about what the Queen said to her. You know, she's just kind of revealed a little bit to sell books. Is that get off the hook for you?
I mean, yes, that's perfectly fair enough, because every Prime Minister does it. I mean, Margaret Thatcher did it by saying that she and the Queen used to do the washing up together, and she sent the Queen a pair of marigold gloves. Well, that's pretty harmless, but it's a nice bit of fun gossip. Boris Johnson did it. Tony Blair did it. Tony Blair said the drinks were so strong he could hardly stand up.
Quite. All right.
So they've all said it because it's a bit of fun and it sells books.
We've got to go, but thank you very much. Ingrid Seward there, royal commentator, former editor of Majesty magazine. No love lost between her and Nicola Sturgeon. Well, when we come back, I'm going to reveal what crimes illegal migrants are committing here in Britain, and that revelation that Labour is smashing fewer gangs than the party that went before them. Stay tuned.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Over the coming days, it is going to remain hot in some places. This could be enough to produce some heavy, possibly thundery showers in the week, and the warm, muggy nights are set to continue. And it's all thanks to that south-southeasterly flow, so we're dragging up some heat from mainland Europe, keeping things quite dry and settled, but also quite warm at times. And as we head through this evening, we'll also drag up some moisture from the southwest, so more cloud just starting to push into parts of south and southwest England, southern parts of Wales too. That could lead us into quite a murky start in the morning. Mostly dry, though we do have some showers just pushing northeastwards across Scotland. But once again, another warm start today. Lows only reaching around 17 to 18 degrees in the south. Now, any cloud that we see across the southwest, it should lift and break through the course of the morning, but it could be thick enough at coasts to produce some very isolated showers. But across Northern Ireland, much of central and southeastern parts of England, northern parts of England too, it should be a bright and sunny start to the day. More cloud across Scotland, some isolated showers just moving their way northeastwards here too. The odd one or two could be heavy, and once again we could still continue to hear the odd rumble of thunder, but they'll eventually clear, drifting their way northeastwards. Any cloud across the southwest will lift and break, and for all, once again, it should be mostly dry, settled and feeling very hot in that sunshine, particularly across central areas. And then we just need to keep an eye on the showers across parts of the southeast, so we may start to see more cloud here into the afternoon, perhaps an odd light shower, but once again temperatures widely in the mid to high 20s, just pushing into the low 30s across central parts. Then on Thursday, we see a bit of a mixed bag of weather. There are going to be some quite heavy thundery showers, particularly northwest Scotland, drifting into western parts of Wales, parts of southwest England as well. So we need to keep an eye on those showers. They could turn quite heavy and thundery. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine to end the week and into the weekend, and the warm temperatures are set to continue as well. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
There's just 3 weeks to see how you can win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. Make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
It's 10 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight, I will reveal what crimes some illegal migrants are being charged with in Britain. Plus,
these women aren't friends out for a run. They're actually undercover police officers.
it's just unbelievable. This police women are being used as bait to snare catcalling men. And
this paramedic was the one left needing medical care after she was thrown out of an ambulance.
should people who attack A&E staff be refused treatment? And this is big. The Independent's front page landed very early today, and it says this: abject failure as smuggling arrests fall under Labour. So that narrative has been smashed, unlike the gangs. And
love these moments of discovery and beauty. So let's be curious together. Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
And you'll marry him?
We're all friends. Whose kitchen is it? Where are the kids? Anyway, pass the bucket, because we're getting another series of Meghan Markle's Netflix, whatever you'd call that guff, right? So we've got the full trailer to play you. Get the sick buckets ready. We're going to play it out in full. On my panel tonight, we've got political commentator Esther Krakow, we've got GB News superstar Alex Armstrong, and journalist Jonathan Liss. And can you tell me what's happening here? Get ready, Britain, here we go. I'm going to reveal the most common criminal charges against illegal migrants living in hotels. Next.
Patrick, thank you. The top stories. GB News can reveal more than 2,000 small boat migrants have crossed the English Channel illegally since the France returns deal came into operation. It comes after GB News also confirmed more than 50,000 migrants had crossed in the 13 months since the Keir Starmer came to power. The figure's now almost 50,700 after a further 426 migrants crossed from France today, according to GB News' provisional figures. In total, since the UK-France partial returns deal came into operation less than a week ago, 2,019 small boat migrants have arrived in UK waters. Under the deal, it's believed around only 50 of that figure will be earmarked for return back to France. The number of people claiming universal credit has hit a record 8 million, the highest since the benefit was introduced in 2013. Official figures show a jump of more than 1 million in the past year, driven almost entirely by those not required to work, now 3.7 million. That group includes people in full-time education, parents with very young children, pensioners and those deemed to have no prospect of work. Labour says it inherited a broken welfare system from the Conservative Party and is tightening rules on who can claim. Donald Trump will hold virtual talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday. The White House has confirmed the call will come 2 days before the US president meets Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska on Friday for what the White House says will be one-on-one talks. The White House describes the Putin meeting as a listening exercise for Mr. Trump. Zelensky says the Alaska summit is a personal victory for Putin, while the White House says Donald Trump could travel to Russia for further talks. Meanwhile, Ukraine's president says Vladimir Putin wants the rest of Donetsk and, in effect, the entire Donbas region as part of a ceasefire plan, which he says he rejects. Netflix has released a trailer for Season 2 of the Duchess of Sussex's lifestyle show, a day after the Sussexes announced a watered-down deal with the streaming giant.
Love these moments of discovery and beauty. So let's be curious together. Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
And you'll marry him?
The teaser, which Meghan also shared on her Instagram page, revealed that the next instalment of With Love, Meghan will air in 2 weeks' time on the 26th of August. Season 1 of With Love, Meghan was savaged by critics. One review described it as a gormless lifestyle filler and so pointless it might be the Sussexes' last TV show. And temperatures peaked at 33.4 degrees in the UK today as Britain has its fourth heat wave of the summer. The highest readings were recorded in Benson, Oxfordshire and Northolt in West London. Amber and yellow heat health alerts are currently in force for all of England. Those are the latest GB News headlines. For now, more from me in an hour.
Tune into GB News Radio wherever you are, online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Good evening. The most common criminal charges against illegal migrants living in hotels have been revealed for the first time. The analysis of court records shows that asylum seekers have been charged with offences including assault, theft, drugs, sexual assault, weapons, immigration offences. I mean, I would have thought that that by definition is true, of course. Assault on an emergency worker, criminal damage, rape, using threatening language, burglary, robbery, threats to kill with a weapon, GBH, stalking and exposure. You'll be able to see it on your screens now if you're watching us on telly, or at least you were. That was the list. Every day, we have stories like this. This Ethiopian refugee groped a volunteer at a social event for asylum seekers held in a church. Then he asked a police officer who came to arrest him for a kiss. After being released on bail, Yusuf Musa then confronted a mother and daughter that he'd never met in the street and asked them if he could give them a hug. Yeah. I mean, it all just feels like this is every flipping day, isn't it? It's every day. Now, obviously not every single illegal migrant is a sex offender, but this is a regular scene in Calais that we're seeing. There we are, off the top. That's an invasion, isn't it? Just charging towards Britain. We've hit 50,000 illegal Channel migrants since Labour came to power, but according to Labour Minister Jackie Smith, it's not their fault.
I don't think it was our fault that it was enabled to take root in the way in which it has done.
OK, so it's not your fault yet. After 2 years, is it your fault? By a government who failed to do what was necessary at that point, that this government has been doing for the last year.
Absolute brass neck on that, isn't it? But I, for the life of me, can't imagine why illegal immigrants think Britain is a soft touch under Labour. Gosh, I don't know. Oh, could it be the now Home Secretary posing with the refugees welcome sign? Could it be that Sir Keir Starmer did this pretty much on day one?
The land scheme was dead and buried before it started. It's never been a deterrent, and I'm not prepared to continue with gimmicks that don't act as a deterrent.
That's aged badly, hasn't it? Could it be that even if they are caught working illegally, they'll get a slap on the wrist? So earlier today, the Prime Minister tweeted this. It's not fair on hard-working people that illegal workers cheat our system. We're stopping it. All right? Unfortunately for Sir Keir Starmer, like so many things he says, it immediately came into contact with reality. Because the first migrant to be convicted of illegally working for Deliveroo since The Sun revealed that loads of them were at it has been fined just £26 after the court heard that he was in debt and he was a first-time offender. He's the first person in the past 6 months to turn up at court to face charges of working illegally as a fast food delivery rider. And that's what they fined him about 2 hours' wages. Not really a deterrent, is it? Look at what's happened to the beautiful seaside resort of Bournemouth. 3 large hotels are now full of illegal immigrants. So again, right, we're not supposed to notice there's any problems there. What have the locals done? They've set up vigilante patrols. Why? Well, goodness me, there's been a spike in murders, stabbings and sexual assaults. Now, of course, this won't be the case for every crime, but people understandably, in my view, will ask serious questions about whether this is linked to illegal immigration in Bournemouth. I mean, there was literally the case of an asylum seeker murdering an aspiring Royal Marine in Bournemouth, stabbed him to death. But we'll just ignore that, shall we? Just take another look here. Yes, that's right. All these charges there against illegal migrants. Staggering, isn't it? And as it was like night follows day, yes, breaking right now, the Independent's front page tomorrow is this. Smuggling arrests have fallen under Labour. Look at that. Smash the gang, smash the gang, smash the gangs. We're working to smash the gangs. We're doing it all. We're stopping this vile trade in people. Actually, you're not, are you? And just ask yourselves this at home now. Keir Starmer must have known that these figures were coming out, mustn't he? At some point, he must have known that people were going to obtain the information about how many gangs and smugglers arrested that had been under his watch. He must have known this was coming out, and he was still peddling the line that he was smashing the gangs. It takes a certain kind of person to do that to you, I think, doesn't it? And I think we're going to see a lot more of this, aren't we? Let's get the thoughts of my panel. Joining us this evening, political commentator Esther Cracker, we've got GB News presenter Alex Armstrong and journalist Jonathan Liss. So, Alex, I kind of feel a bit inclined to deal with the breaking news first, really, which is that for all of the Smash the Gang stuff, it's turned out, according to The Independent, that Labour have arrested fewer people smugglers than the Tories did.
Yeah, the smash the gangs phrase is an abject farce, and it was always a farce from the get-go. Labour, ideologically, doesn't have a problem with migrants coming to this country. We know that that has been the case. You showed the picture there of Yvette Cooper, refugees welcome here. That is where they ideologically fall. That's why the deportations one in, one out scheme, which it isn't one in, one out, it's 1 in, 50 in, 1 out. It's basically a pilot that never seems to be taking off anytime soon. Smash the gangs is failing. This whole thing is a farce. It's designed to look strong and sound strong without actually delivering the goods, and inevitably, when the next election comes, they'll be held accountable for this.
I have a radical idea. I think we should bribe them. I think we should bribe the government and every Labour MP so much money that they will leave politics, and then we get in a new crop. Because I actually think it will cost the country less. So I think
last week she wanted King Charles to be our dictator.
Let me get a bit more detail on this, because it's emerging right now. The latest National Crime Agency data showed that 192 people were arrested for organised immigration crime in the year to April, down 16% from 229 under the Tory government the previous year.
Yeah, you know why this is, Patrick? It's because
they don't want
the government is playing whack-a-mole, and it has been for years. They get rid of these gangs and more spread. Look,
come on, Jonathan. If your argument is there are more gangs,
I'm not defending the government. I'm saying the government's got entirely the wrong strategy when dealing with. No, because obviously you have to smash the gangs, but you can't only smash the gangs because there is a bit. Look,
Jonathan,
can I just make this point? Can I just make one point? Look, there is always going to be, like we've said this many times, there's always going to be a demand, rightly or wrongly. There will always be a demand for people to come here. So right now, there's only one group of people satisfying that demand, which is the gangs themselves.
So
that is why they are flourishing.
When Keir Starmer says, we're smashing the gangs, we're smashing the gangs, is he just lying?
I think he's trying to smash them. They've set up a control. They've set up a command force, task force.
What you just said a moment ago was completely wrong, because actually what we saw with the Rwanda bill, at least while it was going through, is that migrants were scared to come here. In fact, many of them were going to Ireland from Northern Ireland. They were trying to get away from the United Kingdom because they were fearful they were going to get deported. So actually, what you do to stop the gangs is to stop the people who are paying them, not this magic MI5 that's going on.
This is absolutely crushing for the Labour government.
It's crushing.
They have smashed fewer gangs than the Tories did.
Absolutely abysmal.
According to National Crime Agency data, that is shocking.
You may think I'm joking. I think we should split up £1 billion, find £1 billion.
He's still on the bribe.
Esther, come on.
I'm not joking.
OK, but that's not going to happen.
Prime Minister, all of them, the lot of them. How many Labour MPs are there in Parliament? Like a few hundred. Bribe all of them with £1 billion, and it would be cheaper and less damaging.
It wouldn't be enough.
No, I'm serious.
Sorry, but can I also just say on this? Can I also just say on this? No, seriously, guys, can I also just say on this? This is not singularly the fault of the Labour government. The fact that the National Crime Agency have released this data, I'm sorry, they don't like it when I say this. They've been very vocal about me not saying this, but I'm going to say it. They need to look at themselves in the mirror. I thought the National Crime Agency was a load of hard-nosed police officers. It's not. You can come straight into the National Crime Agency from university. Yeah. It's basically a civil service position in some cases. What the flipping heck are you doing? We have single-handedly given the National Crime Agency the details of countless human traffickers, people smugglers, locations, their voice notes, everything. I went and met up with 3 human traffickers in 4 hours in France, right? And I guarantee you now that loads of them are based here in Britain. How the flipping heck are we not smashing more of these people? It's a disgrace.
It is an absolute disgrace. And on top of that, all these new things that the Labour government have signed into office, they talked about, David Lammy celebrated signing in all of this, what we're going to double down on freezing their bank accounts, we're going to go after them. It has had zero effect. It's in fact, as you've clearly pointed out by that front page there, it's done the opposite. If only they're smashing less.
Why does no one else get sacked?
They're holding us hostage. They want to show us that things can get much, much worse, and therefore we should bribe them out of office. They're holding this in hold. I'm not because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. This is beyond incompetence. This is
how does Keir Starmer sell this?
This country.
Seriously, how does Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper say this? We've got people out on the streets outside migrant hotels now. The general public have had enough. Absolutely had enough of all this. I've just published there's an article that broke in the Daily Mail, which was the list of offences that illegal immigrants are committing in Britain. You've got assault, you've got rape, you've got threats with a weapon, you've got GBH, you've got all sorts, sexual assault, bang, 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 bang. It's just all there now. And then it turns out that for all of this guff, this government has smashed fewer gangs than the Tories.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned a lot of things there. The thing about asylum seekers who commit crimes. Now, I'm not obviously apologising for anyone who commits crimes, and anyone who commits crimes needs to be dealt with in the normal way. What I am saying is that you would expect in any cohort of people that some of those people may go on to commit crimes, as in any part of the population.
You refuse to believe that some human beings are more inclined to commit crimes. You refuse to believe that Afghan men are inherently more likely to rape women.
Patrick, what I do say is that I would not want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and completely end the asylum system. And I also think that if you have, you might have, for example, you might have some Afghan people who have committed crimes, and that's completely unacceptable. But that is collective punishment to then say to the Afghan people en masse that they can't come here. We owe Afghans more than anyone. We owe Afghans a debt of gratitude more than anyone.
No, we don't.
Yes, of course we do, Patrick.
Absolutely.
Of course we do.
If you have a group of people that are more likely to commit a certain crime, are you not thinking of the victims of those crimes who are in Britain, who have no say as to whether they should have those people in their communities. Isn't that the primary consideration?
Let me tell you why I don't think we owe them anything.
Collective punishment,
right?
whatever that means.
The Iraqi Kurds. Now, we were told all sorts of sob stories about the Iraqi Kurds before we went into Iraq. Saddam gassed the Kurds, this, that and the other. Yeah, terrible stuff. Who's running a load of these human trafficking operations now? It's the Iraqi Kurds that live in Britain. So that's gone well, hasn't it? Brilliant. We owe these people something, do we? We owe them something.
Well, it's true that the Iraqi Kurds were treated disgracefully by Saddam.
They were, and now they are.
Not all of them.
The leading cohort behind the human trafficking.
You and I would never accept being held responsible for the crimes of other British people, because we're individuals and we haven't done those crimes.
But we constantly
and we wouldn't want to be. And we wouldn't want to be banned from going places and doing things
when we
because
talk
we're
about
British.
This crisis, people online will say, actually, because of your colonial past, this is payback. I see it all the time.
We've never been banned from doing anything, Alex,
because we're British. There's a group of people who blame Britain still, and they laugh at us because of this crisis, and they go, actually, because of your colonial past, you deserve this. Actually, they do collectively demean.
What are we banned from doing because of the crimes of other British people?
Sorry, but maybe you should tackle your cultural problems in your own communities first before you're welcomed into our country.
Well, we should tackle our own problems because the vast majority of crimes committed by British people.
We're getting quite emotional.
Well, that's our country. That's our problem to deal with. That's what we're saying.
We're getting quite emotional. I think we should think of pragmatic.
Is it a bribery then?
How much money will it take for Keir Starmer and his lot to leave government?
On that note,
I'm serious.
I know you are. Well, I don't know.
No, but what? Companies pay people to leave their employment all the time. Why is this controversial? They are destroying the country.
Okay, right. Well, I'm just going to read because we're going to move on now. But I want to read you some more stats from this article just quickly, right? Because we'll return to this on the front page.
To buttress my case.
There's been just over 900 arrests for people smuggling in 4 years. That's it. We've had like 100,000 people cross the channel, and we've had 900. There have been 912 arrests for organised immigration crime since 2021, both in the UK and overseas. That is laughable. That is absolutely pathetic. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. I'm sorry, but at what point do you have to raise serious questions about whether or not we're like this is like almost deliberate? I mean, it's ridiculous.
It is deliberate.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, that's a completely unfounded conspiracy theory, isn't it?
Are you joking?
I mean, but Patrick, think about it electorally. Electorally, it would be the best thing ever for Labour if they were able to get a handle on this. The idea that they're somehow in lockstep or in cahoots with the gangs is the most laughable nonsense.
You're able to...
Clearly, they would like to do this. I think that the approach is wrong because there's no reality in this conversation. There's a reality about the actual solutions that we might be able to have because we cannot stop people wanting to come to the UK.
Can I just say this? Because the other side of the reality, you'll say, yes, wouldn't it be great for them to smash the gangs? That would look great for them. Why don't they do it then? Why don't they do it? Why don't they stop people coming over to this country tomorrow, set up safe routes is what they want to do it tomorrow? They don't want to do it.
They don't want to set up safe routes. I've been asked to do that for years.
We've got to go. I mean, look, you just had the migrant crime stats there, followed by the fact that the human trafficking gangs are not being smashed at all. Ridiculous state of affairs. Anyway, this will cheer you up, probably. Time for the Great British Giveaway. Oh, good. We've got something brilliant to share with you. Jane from Manchester became our biggest cash winner to date yesterday, and here's the moment that we called her to give her the wonderful news.
Jane, are you sitting down?
No, I don't. I'm not believing this.
Jane, you've won £54,321.
Please don't joke. I just would change my life.
Jane, you have won £54,321 with GB News. Congratulations.
Oh, my God. Oh, my, do you know what? I've just been shopping and I've got £50 to last me till the 31st of August. And I was trying to work things out.
Go and sit down, have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. That money is coming to you, all right?
Oh, my God, thank you so much.
Oh, bless her, Jay. Wow, that was actually... I'd not heard that before. I was really quite emotional, that, isn't it? Well, there you are. I mean, the Great British Giveaway really can change your life. Be like Jane. Enter it. You've got to be in it to win it. I don't think any of us can think about a lady who could possibly have been more deserving of winning that money. So, anyway, now it's your chance to be the next winner. Would you like your mortgage or rent paid plus £5 grand tax-free? Here's how.
We want to send some of those monthly financial stresses packing this August with your chance to be mortgage or rent-free for 12 whole months. We'll give you a cash lump sum that equals 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to an amazing £20,000. We'll also throw in an extra £5,000 on top of that for good measure, because why not? And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you. We'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. What are you waiting for? Lines will close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
OK, well, yes, good luck for that. Very serious story next, though. So, apparently a nurse is attacked every 2 hours in the NHS. Should you be refused treatment on the NHS if you're abusive to staff? That's next.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
It's a really nice idea to get the public involved, and it's our notes, isn't it? So why shouldn't the public have to say on who's on notes? And it's not just people, it's also places and anything particularly British. I mean, I'd like to see Big Ben on some notes, which is a very distinctive element of this country. Big Ben, everybody recognises Big Ben across the world. Being rather popular, so I'd have the Beatles on there. The best band that we've ever had, the best band in the world,
for heaven's sake, Norman.
You careful, for you'll upset the viewers. Beatles are fantastic. But you want to something like that which recognises the talent that's been in this country. We've had Shakespeare, of course, and we've had Winston Churchill. But let's have something a bit more up to date.
David Attenborough.
A brilliant idea.
Thank you.
Brilliant idea.
No, I've just come up with that, and I thought that was quite good. And then they also encourage ideas, nature, don't they? So I thought maybe some acorns.
Why not a beaver?
A beaver is a great idea, Claire.
Two things.
And a dam.
Two things to mention on this, right? One, you still cannot pass a Scottish note in anywhere in England, and for fear it will not be accepted as legal tender, right? But can they not?
It is legal tender.
Of course but it is legal. Yeah, it is legal tender. Same as an Ulster note.
Yeah.
It's all sterling. It's got the word sterling written on it and whatever. But you do find a certain resistance to... Huge resistance. And see, the minute they start to hold it up in the air, I'm like, I'm going to get you. Just don't ignite.
When I came back from Aberdeen last time, full of Scottish notes, and I went into shops, I didn't have any resistance, and I was ready for it, though. I was ready for it. I was going to say, well, take it or leave it.
It's legal tender.
It's legal tender.
Yeah, but the other thing is it not the Bank of England that wants to remove the historical characters on the notes? I mean, who actually uses cash? I prefer to use cash.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Wake up with a familiar face. She's back on breakfast television. Penny Smith returns.
Miss me? Well, I'm here, and I brought the coffee.
And we're reuniting to brighten your morning.
It's just like old times, only better.
So join Penny and me next Monday and Tuesday only on GB News Breakfast.
Welcome back. So, new data has revealed that violence against A&E nurses has almost doubled in the last 6 years. Nurses have been punched, spat at, pinned against walls, threatened with acid, even had guns drawn on them, which is remarkable, really, driven by patients, they say, right, OK, they say it's been driven by patients' growing frustration over longer waiting times. Absolute tosh. That it's just to do with the disintegration of British society, isn't it, and total lawlessness, which we're not allowed to know about, according to people like Fraser Nelson. But anyway, in fact, one nurse is now attacked every 2 hours. So should you be refused treatment if you are abusive to NHS staff? Well, we are joined now by GP Dr. Basha Mukherjee. Thank you very much. Great to see you again. When we're not talking about strike action, actually, it makes a change. So, should people who are abusive to NHS staff be blocked from receiving treatment?
My personal view is yes, because abuse should absolutely not be tolerated. And definitely for essentially a free service that people are receiving. And you're absolutely right that this was not the case 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when I was a medical student, I could not imagine any such thing. Nurses were respected, and we never even hit those numbers of the long waiting list. So it's a systemic issue. I can imagine why people are frustrated, and it is more and more, pertinent. We see this all the time now, that we see angry patients. Patients are angry at their doctors, their nurses, the receptionists. And because we are the frontline staff, regardless of who's to blame for that problem, we get the abuse. So this is sadly becoming a problem, a big problem.
I mean, if it is this absolute epidemic, I mean, surely we should have a police officer in every single A&E waiting room.
Well, we do actually have security staff, but even security staff are stretched, and especially in urban areas and inner city A&Es, and I was working in one myself. You know, the type of people that come through the door, the level of crime in those areas is so high that even staffing it with a security staff is becoming not enough. Even security staff are being stretched from one ward to another because of the level of violence that we get to see.
Yeah, I just think people, I get that people go into medicine such as yourself for the obvious reason that you want to help people, and therefore the idea of not treating someone is probably quite alien to that concept. However, if someone comes in and pulls a gun on a nurse or threatens them with acid or, does any of the other disgusting things they've been doing, in Patrick Christys' Britain, there'd be a black mark next to their name and they'd never be allowed to get any treatment on the NHS again. And I can't help but wonder whether or not this issue might stop.
Well, it's interesting because there are patients that I remember treating. I don't know about the history of violence, but patients can absolutely be banned from certain hospitals. That doesn't stop them from turning up at the door, and that doesn't stop them. We don't have the level of tech where they'll have a face recognition, where they'll be stopped at A&E before they're actually coming face to face with the staff member necessarily, and that's a whole different problem in itself. They can still go to other hospitals. Unfortunately, with human rights, essentially, they still are entitled to accessing healthcare somewhere. It still points to the fact that, there are prison populations who probably also have very violent history as well. They're still eligible to access healthcare also. The question is, what's causing this level of frustration?
Right, what do you think it is? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't buy the idea that they are all sitting there getting increasingly frustrated about NHS waiting times. I don't know if I might have misheard you, or whether you made this point earlier on, which is, since I can remember being able to hear things, I was hearing that NHS waiting times were screwed and that we've always been overrunning and it's been very difficult and all of this. So this isn't a new phenomenon that people go to A&E and have to wait 6 or 7 hours sometimes, right? So this, to me, points towards a societal issue, that people are ready to get more violent more quickly and abuse hospital staff. And that is something deeper than, oh, gosh, I've had to wait an hour longer than I thought.
I mean, let's look at what's happening in wider society overall, the level of crime, and also I'm sorry to say, I respect police, but it feels like genuinely you can literally get away with any crime these days, except for people who are in jobs, who are working. They'll get struck off work. They'll get, kicked out of work for saying the wrong thing. You'll end up in prison for saying the wrong thing on Twitter, on social media, and questioned on your ability to do work. Whereas people who are actually doing crime, the police don't care about that. I definitely feel that way as a citizen. I've accessed police before and actually didn't feel that they did anything about it. So if you look at wider society, that's definitely a reflection of people probably think they can get away with more even in hospitals, yes.
And just lastly, we don't have to answer this question, of course, up to you, but have you faced abuse in your line of work personally?
I have to say that I haven't faced direct abuse, thankfully. I must say that in a way, doctors are a little bit better protected. There's a lot more other staff that end up facing the patient much before, so they face their wrath a lot more. Reception staff, for example, get abused in a huge amount, and then obviously nursing staff as well. By the time they get to the doctor, they're usually a little bit more pacified, thankfully. So I have to say that I've not had the volume of any kind of physical abuse. That's definitely not happened to me.
All right. Of course, they might not be able to get to you if you're out on a picket line, but anyway, I thought I had to get a little joke in. Anyway, so, all right. Thank you very much. Tremendous to see you as always. GP Dr. Sebastian Mukherjee, take care, all right? Until next time, thank you. But next, yes, so I'm going to be talking about the front pages. The front pages have landed. The Independent is an absolute shocker. We've spoken to you about that. You know, the government is smashing fewer gangs than the Tories were. Remarkable. But next, The Telegraph. Families face fresh inheritance tax grab. Oh, good. And on The Sun, taunts of the TikTok migrant. He's streaming to 1 million people from a free hotel. We'll delve into that next. Stay tuned.
You're looking happy.
Well, the forecast looks good.
So you've sorted the travel insurance then?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, and across many parts of southern Europe, there will be some showery rain around, but plenty of sunshine. And I think the biggest talking point is the exceptional heat. Some very warm air over North Africa has spread northwards into parts of Spain, Portugal, and is going to push into France and Germany as well. Coastal spots are going to be, well, very warm, but it's inland areas where temperatures are going to be exceptionally high, both by day and by night. Plenty of sunshine, like I said, however.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Over the coming days, it is going to remain hot in some places. This could be enough to produce some heavy, possibly thundery showers in the week, and the warm, muggy nights are set to continue. And it's all thanks to that south-southeasterly flow, so we're dragging up some heat from mainland Europe, keeping things quite dry and settled, but also quite warm at times. And as we head through this evening, we'll also drag up some moisture from the southwest, so more cloud just starting to push into parts of south and southwest England, southern parts of Wales too. That could lead us into quite a murky start in the morning. Mostly dry, though we do have some showers just pushing northeastwards across Scotland. But once again, another warm start today. Lows only reaching around 17 to 18 degrees in the south. Now, any cloud that we see across the southwest, it should lift and break through the course of the morning, but it could be thick enough at coasts to produce some very isolated showers. But across Northern Ireland, much of central and southeastern parts of England, northern parts of England too, it should be a bright and sunny start to the day. More cloud across Scotland, some isolated showers just moving their way northeastwards here too. The odd one or two could be heavy, and once again we could still continue to hear the odd rumble of thunder, but they'll eventually clear, drifting their way northeastwards. Any cloud across the southwest will lift and break, and for all, once again, it should be mostly dry, settled and feeling very hot in that sunshine, particularly across central areas. And then we just need to keep an eye on the showers across parts of the southeast, so we may start to see more cloud here into the afternoon, perhaps an odd light shower. But once again, temperatures widely in the mid to high 20s, just pushing into the low 30s across central parts. Then on Thursday, we see a bit of a mixed bag of weather. There are going to be some quite heavy thundery showers, particularly northwest Scotland, drifting into western parts of Wales, parts of southwest England as well. So we need to keep an eye on those showers. They could turn quite heavy and thundery. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine to end the week and into the weekend, and the warm temperatures are set to continue as well. Bye-bye.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say.
How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record. You say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back, everybody. It's tomorrow's newspaper front pages. Right now, let's do The Independent. Abject failure as smuggling arrests fall under Labour. This is an absolute hammer blow for the Labour government, not least because The Independent is a left-wing newspaper that is now...
They're independent.
Yeah, they're a left-wing newspaper that is now calling BS on Sir Keir Starmer in a huge, huge way. The smashing the gangs is absolutely... That narrative is just... It's gone. It's finished. It's over. The Daily Telegraph. Families face fresh inheritance tax grab. And the picture as well. Can I just say the picture story? Is that not an invasion? Look at that. That is an army of young men, mostly, almost entirely. I think there's one woman in a hijab at the back there.
Is that not an egg race?
No, it's not. It's people coming to Britain, coming to a hotel near you, Esther. Anyway, families face fresh inheritance tax grab. Those two things side by side are stark, aren't they? Brilliant. That money that your parents probably worked hard for to keep aside for you, to leave you a little bit of something, the natural order of things in society, yeah, we need to grab that. Who are we flipping giving it to? Seriously, just look at what's next to it. We'll talk about that in a sec. The Daily Mirror. Oh, right. Can I just start a petition to get Brooklyn Beckham to sod off, please? This is ridiculous. No way back after second wedding fury.
Who cares about him?
Well, it's the news. He's not forcing newspapers to put him on the front page, is he?
Baby,
Anyway, dry alert. Emergency plans to tackle drought after 50-year low. Drought conditions could last until the middle of October as the scorching summer dries at reservoirs and rivers. Well, we should have built more then, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
You can't
increase... That's a novel idea.
Yeah, you can't increase your population by the size that we've done and not build a single reservoir. Shocking. The Daily Express, record 8 million people on universal credit. Well, we've kind of covered this to an extent. There's 1 million more people on a lifetime of benefits with no need to ever look for work under this Labour government.
Can I just add that Naomi Campbell there is also using a lot of water? And we're going through clearly quite a hard time when it comes to water. She's
in the Mediterranean.
It's a stark contrast between the dry out of the mirror and the showering herself down, but there we go.
There we go. The iPaper clamped down on stone imports after deadly lung disease linked to kitchen revamps. Right, why is that on the front page? Oh, sorry.
I thought it was some sort of...
Because people are getting sick.
I don't think people would...
Is it a massive story, that? After a long-running investigation by the iPaper...
to do up their kitchen these days?
Well, just had mine done. So, The Sun, taunts of the TikTok migrant. No? OK. Taunts of the TikTok migrant. So he is in... Oh, it's not, is it? Crown Plaza, is it in Altrincham? I bet... Oh, no, near Heathrow, right, fair enough. An illegal migrant boasted on TikTok of crossing the channel by dinghy, saying, tell your friends to come. The man, he's known as Alexandra 420.
That's his birth name.
Yeah, well, or maybe the city of his birth. Anyway, racked up 1 million views as he detailed his journey before brazenly hosting a live stream Q&A at an asylum hotel near Heathrow. One more paper for you. Metro, bungling hit woman in niqab faces life. Well, as an American who's guilty of a bizarre murder plot, she put a burqa on or a niqab on and tried to kill someone. It will probably reignite some calls to ban the burqa, but there we go. Let's focus on the Sun's front page. So, 50,000 have crossed under Labour. This bloke live streaming from a migrant hotel about, tell your friends to come to Britain. It's just absolutely galling, this stuff, isn't it, Alex?
It makes me feel sick seeing it, Frank. It makes me feel angry. It makes me feel really... people are suffering in this country. This is a really hard time to live in Britain. There's people who are desperate to leave our country, who are good citizens paying taxes, because they're seeing stuff like this shoved down their throats daily because the government cannot get its act together and listen to the will of the people and sort this out and deport these people.
There are people... In fact, I am waiting for this bloke to arrive before I do it, but he's on his way anyway. There's a bloke that I bumped into in that warehouse full of illegal men in Calais, who I've got all of his TikTok, and his TikTok is a tour guide of Europe. So he started off in Gran Canaria, came over from Libya. He's been to more European countries than I have, this guy. He's having a great time in all of them by the looks of his social media, and he's about to genuinely take the Eurostar to King's Cross to claim asylum when he gets here. And when he does, and we've got all this, and we'll just give him asylum, won't we? We'll just give it to him.
We won't have a choice.
No, how's he? Wait, so what do you mean
regardless of the fact
he's coming over in the Eurostar?
Human Rights Act, we don't have a choice.
So he has a visa to come to Britain then, if he's getting the Eurostar?
Well, if
he's going on the Eurostar, won't let you on unless you have, a passport and the right
well,
visa.
Have a passport, won't he?
But you need to have a visa if you're not a European citizen.
Right.
But
then he'll claim asylum.
Private science needs to get off the train.
Well, but funny enough, actually, he kind of stumbled upon an issue that we don't talk about very much on this channel, which is that the vast majority, not the vast majority, but I think the majority of asylum seekers actually do come in legally, and then they come to overstay their visas. So it's not the small boats. It's not just the small boats.
But there's also the fact that at the moment, if you just buy a flight to Britain and land here, you can still claim asylum.
No, but you have to. The airline won't let you board the plane unless you have a visa to come to the UK.
That's not the issue. Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean? Apparently, have we got a picture of this guy who's been taunting people? No. Yay. There he is. Lovely looking chap, isn't he? Brilliant. Probably go on to be a fabulous contribution to British society. I mean, you know a brain surgeon when you see one, don't you? And there we go. So yeah, he's been posting to an audience of millions of people from his Migrant hotel, Esther.
Today is the 12th of August, 2025.
Yeah.
Everyone on this channel will mark my words. Today was the day that Esther came a tangible solution to this entire farce.
We're bribing people again.
Yeah.
We need to bribe this government and all Labour MPs.
Right.
You cannot tell me that if you looked all these politicians in the eye and said, we'll give you 50 million quid, we never want to hear from you again.
Wow.
We never want to hear from you again.
Well, in a way, they've been bribing certain people to leave.
Why are you an Argentinian identity?
Well, it's been done before. Right, OK, let's move on to the Daily Telegraph. This story, families face fresh inheritance tax grab. Parents may be prevented from making unlimited tax-free gifts to their children under a proposed tightening of inheritance tax rules. The Treasury is considering a lifetime cap on the value of gifts that someone can pass on before they die. I think this is absolutely shocking, isn't it? Not because I understand. By the way, for anyone, I don't think I stand to inherit a particularly great amount of money. Not looking forward to inheriting the family estate.
The son and heir of nothing in particular, eh?
Hey?
The son and heir of nothing in particular.
The son and heir, yeah. Lord, not a lot. But anyway, but this is ridiculous. If parents work hard all their lives and have kids and want to pass something on to those children, and why can't they?
Well, they should be able to. The whole point of wanting to buy a house and own a home and own assets and property is so you can actually give your kids something when you pass away. That is what the vast majority of middle-income England, which is the vast majority of us, do to pass on something to your children. But the stark reality is that, again, people are packing up and leaving this country, first of all, so those are going. We've even heard news that councils might be up selling homes, buying homes up and down the country to house migrants in them. And on top of that, you're going to get taxed when it's a death tax, isn't it? It's disgusting.
You don't think there should be any inheritance tax?
No, there shouldn't be any inheritance. You pay tax to breathe in this country, Johnny. You pay enough tax by the time you die.
I think that there is,
Alex,
there is a balance between saying that inheritance tax should be taxed so fairly and maybe looking at the boundaries of that tax, etc., and saying there should be no inheritance tax at all. I don't think that would be progressive because we do have a system where so much of your life chances in this country are based on the wealth that you come from, class, and it's fair to pay some tax on that.
But a lot of people won't know this. But the very wealthy, the people that you're worried about, actually put their assets into a trust, which doesn't get taxed. So actually, if you're wealthy enough, which is what this is aimed at, you actually avoid the tax at all.
Well, this is the thing.
So realistically, all you're doing is slamming the middle class again.
Well, then the government should get those tax loopholes.
All right, we're a bit pressed for time, but I just want to get a bit more detail for people out there. I'm sure you're aware of this, but at present, unlimited amounts of money and assets can be given to friends and relatives without paying any eventual inheritance tax as long as the transfer happens at least 7 years before that person die. So it would appear that the government wants to stop that. And
well, not stop it altogether, but to change maybe the cap or to change how much the tax is tapered.
Why?
There's a tapering
it's not
system.
The government's part. Well, get out of my life. Seriously, not you. Sorry, the government. Just get out of our lives. Just jog on, seriously, it's ridiculous. They wonder why, aspiration in this country is dead. What's the point of earning anything or owning anything if they're just going to rip it away from you even before you die? Anyway.
It's sounding a lot better now, isn't it?
Bribing the government until they leave. Yes, it is, Esther. Right. OK, all right, stay tuned. We've got some more front pages for you when I come back.
50 million, I'm telling you.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
In London alone, 80,000 smartphones were stolen just last year. And organised crime groups are also stealing the devices in bulk, with violent robberies at phone shops.
So Mark White, Mark's our Home and Security editor. He's put together this report and he's been given exclusive access to the flying squad's operation. So let's have a look.
We're on board with these officers from South East London as they prepare to rendezvous with the team from the Met's flying squad. Their target, an organised crime group suspected of involvement in a series of violent robberies. The gang's believed to have struck mobile phone shops in more than a dozen different locations, stuffing holdalls full of high-value smartphones in each raid. This is rare access. The flying squad is the Met's elite robbery and kidnap unit, dealing with some of the country's most hardened criminals.
Please open the door, it's going in!
Inside are the two suspects they're looking for.
We'll come down and speak to him just 2 seconds, all right? You're under arrest for mobile phone shops between March and June 2025.
As a drug sniffer dog arrives to help search the property, other officers find what they think is a small packet of drugs thrown from a bedroom window.
It's quite cocaine.
Well, it's just after 6 a.m. and the two suspects at this address have had a rather rude awakening. Raids are also happening at another dozen addresses around this area.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Very quick whiz through the rest of tomorrow's newspapers. The Times, Chinese company to take over struggling Thames Water. Channel boat migrants arriving at record speed. The Mail, it's not our fault. The number of Channel migrants hits 50,000. The Guardian, Treasury targets inheritance tax rises to plug growing UK deficit. A real caucus of a set of front pages there. We're going to get stuck into that at 11 p.m. But I wanted to play something to you now. Buckle up, get the sick bucket ready. There's more of Meghan Markle.
Music on?
Right, I'm kidding.
I love the idea of spending time together and finding new ways to show people you care. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I could do this every day. Let's get creative and learn something new. Nicely done. I don't know what's happening. I'm so glad you came to show me how to do this. Is this working?
Today's about getting out of your comfort zone.
I have no idea where to start.
Everybody should have one of those at home.
You think so?
Oh, right, OK. So let's just review what we've seen so far. How many of those people do you reckon have ever met her before? I'm going to say maybe 2 or 3 of them. How many of them do you reckon have any idea really what her life's about? Whose house is it? Because I don't think it's hers. I'm not sure
it's not hers. That doesn't matter.
There's some good
news. Who cares if it's not?
Also, it's all
Nigella doesn't phone her in kitchen. Who cares?
She goes, oh, I love this because I like spending time together. Where are the kids? Where's Harry? We never see them in any of this, pretty much, do we? I mean, it's all complete and utter guff.
Look, Harry makes an appearance. He chewed through his leash just in time to
He did. Yeah, he broke out the attic, chewed through his leash, and came
Honestly,
wandering
Patrick,
over.
what I always say when we talk about Harry and Meghan.
Be up there for too long.
Whenever we talk about Harry and Meghan, you just say, if you believe that the one thing they want above all is publicity, then why on earth are you giving them exactly what they want?
Well, we can repackage
It's exactly what they want. Don't give it to them.
We can repackage my idea.
Duke of Sussex, they are still royalty in that respect. So they want to get rid of their titles or treat them like any other celebrity, but they still...
No, you won't. You'll still sort of have, you know, sort of attack piece on them.
Pay them.
Oh, my God.
We could pay them more than enough money.
I think Esther's broken this week.
They could have enough security to transport them to the moon.
You are broken this week, you know that, don't you?
Money is the answer. We need to bribe people to stop doing things we don't like.
Esther, how much can we bribe you to stop talking about this, actually? Can we give you some money to...
Harry and Meghan are the most... They are the most out-of-touch people.
Oh, who cares?
It's all alone. It's just the way they try to sell themselves and all this fake rubbish, which is so un-British. They will never be welcome back to this country now. They've gone past the point
I don't think they care.
We get to we get to watch Meghan Markle have really cringeworthy...
I don't think you will be watching this, actually.
With people who she's never flipping met before, who don't know anything about her life or who she is. All she's going to do is get someone else to bake sourdoughs, probably put some flower petals on it, like she did last time.
I think she does, actually. To be fair to her, she does actually cook. She does cook.
So what? We all cook.
All right, but you just said that someone else is going to be making the sourdoughs. I'm saying she probably does bake it herself.
Brilliant. Yeah, well done, Meghan. Cheers for that.
Well, she can't win then, can she? Honestly, who cares about this?
That's how she got her.
No,
because Claire's a proper chef.
Look, Patrick, if people want to watch this, they'll watch it. If they don't, they won't. And the reason that the second series has been commissioned is that so many people did actually watch the first season. Well, of course they did, Alex. That's why they've just been commissioned for Netflix.
They're watching it out of hate.
Well, that's still... The ratings don't care about that.
A random woman with no discernible talents whatsoever going about her daily business in her house that isn't even hers, just mixing some jam together, which will probably try and sell you for $200 at the end of it. And
who cares? If she was taking money from public funds, it'd be a separate issue, but she's not. She's making her own money. That's what people told her to do, so she is. And now they're attacking her for it as well.
Just inflicting herself on us.
Absolutely.
Anyway. All right, OK. Well, anyway, I'm sure she would say that it's a great show. She's not a grifter and that she's more talented than that leg of ham. So great stuff.
It's a terrific ham on Iberico, to be fair.
Right, fantastic. Yes, OK. All right, well, we have got a lot more to come. The next hour, the front page is some sensational stuff on there about Labour not smashing the gangs, all of that stuff, and inheritance tax as well. It looks like they want to rob you while you're still alive. Anyway, thank you very much for a wonderful panel. I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Over the coming days, it is going to remain hot in some places. This could be enough to produce some heavy, possibly thundery showers in the week, and the warm, muggy nights are set to continue, and it's all thanks to that south-southeasterly flow, so we're dragging up some heat from mainland Europe, keeping things quite dry and settled, but also quite warm at times. And as we head through this evening, we'll also drag up some moisture from the southwest, so more cloud just starting to push into parts of south and southwest England, southern parts of Wales too. That could lead us into quite a murky start in the morning. Mostly dry, though we do have some showers just pushing northeastwards across Scotland. But once again, another warm start today, lows only reaching around 17 to 18 degrees in the south. Now, any cloud that we see across the southwest, it should lift and break through the course of the morning, but it could be thick enough at coasts to produce some very isolated showers. But across Northern Ireland, much of central and southeastern parts of England, northern parts of England too, it should be a bright and sunny start to the day. More cloud across Scotland, some isolated showers just moving their way northeastwards here too. The odd one or two could be heavy, and once again we could still continue to hear the odd rumble of thunder, but they'll eventually clear, drifting their way northeastwards. Any cloud across the southwest will lift and break, and for all, once again, it should be mostly dry, settled and feeling very hot in that sunshine, particularly across central areas. And then we just need to keep an eye on the showers across parts of the southeast, so we may start to see more cloud here into the afternoon, perhaps an odd light shower. But once again, temperatures widely in the mid to high 20s, just pushing into the low 30s across central parts. Then on Thursday, we see a bit of a mixed bag of weather. There are going to be some quite heavy thundery showers, particularly northwest Scotland, drifting into western parts of Wales, parts of southwest England as well. So we need to keep an eye on those showers. They could turn quite heavy and thundery. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine to end the week and into the weekend, and the warm temperatures are set to continue as well. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
What next hour we have got for you on Late Edition. The Independent's front page is absolutely sensational. For a left-wing paper, they reveal that Labour has smashed fewer gangs than the Conservatives. Smuggling arrests are down. Really remarkable revelation. Also, The Sun have got one about an illegal migrant who is TikToking to an audience of millions from a hotel that you are paying for. And it looks as though Labour are going to increase inheritance tax rules that, frankly, they just want to cripple you while still alive.
We want to send some of those monthly financial stresses packing this August with your chance to be mortgage or rent-free for 12 whole months. We'll give you a cash lump sum that equals 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to an amazing £20,000. We'll also throw in an extra £5,000 on top of that for good measure. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.